Yeah, it's only because I have a meeting later.
Oh, okay. What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We have a phenomenal guest here today. So we're talking about educating your client base, educating the people that follow you on social media, to convert them from strangers into friends and friends into clients. We've got the wonderful Tim Stafford is back with us, repeat guest. Tim is really, keeping his finger essentially on the pulse of what's happening and what's working right now in social media, especially in Facebook. So we're going to go deep on what's working and what's not, what adjustments we can make tactically to keep up with what people's expectations are and what's working, what's getting the eyeballs, what's drawing the eyes and ears on Facebook. So we'll bring Tim in a second. First of all, the only one that any of us should be paying attention to on Facebook, because you're live 7 to 8 hours a day, Greg McDaniel, my partner in crime, the junior right master. What's up today? It's a slight exaggeration, but not by much.
But that's the funny part about that, Matt, is that you're the second person to almost say the exact same phrase to me. I was doing my mornings with McDaniel show this morning, right? And one of the guys watching goes, "Dude, Greg's like the real life Truman Show. I mean, his whole life is on Facebook Live." I'm like, God, it's kind of a complex on that. I'm like, am I live too much? Wow, fuck that. No, I'm not. I like going live. I'm gonna go live because it's fun. It's a way to communicate. Tim was really educating me and Matt behind the scenes, kind of like how the Facebook Lives and the view counts and all of that stuff and how they correlate directly in with interacting or reacting and how to get more likes out of stuff and how to use different verbiage and the whole thing. And if you guys haven't seen Tim before, I met him. Tim, what has it been, like a couple of years now?
Yeah, I think it's been 2 years, I think.
Gosh, look how fast the time flies. I mean, Matt, if anyone knows, if you guys remember the platform called Blab, I want you guys to give us put a thumbs up in the comment section, because that's where Tim and I met randomly in a Blab session, and we're like, dude, you're cool. Dude, you can come on my podcast. Okay. And a friendship was born. So,
that's right.
Dude, I'm pumped you're back, brother. It really is.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure.
I know we're excited because you're so much better than we are. I mean, Greg, you watch your own numbers, but obviously you're not in the back end of a bunch of people's accounts looking at their numbers. Tim, you are, like, you're in this, in the weeds every single day, not just for yourself, but for clients and nonprofits and institutions, and like just all, like, a pretty good spread of like different types of people that you're managing their social media. So, like, I don't know of anybody else in our world that really has that, like, kind of their finger on the pulse of what's working in organic content the way that you do. So I'm pumped to have you. What have you been up to lately? What are you excited about? What are you working on recently?
I'm kind of like you guys. I got a million irons in the fire, and they're all behind the scenes. That's the fun part for me. But I actually now am fully fully with St. Thomas University, so I'm a full professor now. So
nice.
I'm doing that. That's my day job. I get to do that from my house. So I've moved completely out of the corporate office, which I'm so excited.
Wow.
And then I just keep growing clients. We just keep working with nonprofits and whatnot. But I teach a lot of consulting, and we do talk a lot about social media, talk about education. But there's a lot that's going on as far as that goes. And then I'm working on a lot of projects with education, which is really where my background was. Where my background is, it's in education. So I do a lot of projects in education, but I'm kind of split now. I used to do mostly nonprofit education. I'm starting to do a lot more now, education as marketing, and that there's a lot that's happening. A lot of my clients are converting to education as marketing platforms, and of course there's a lot of education that's going online. So I'm knee deep in that. And all that technical stuff, because when I'm not with you guys, I'm in a dark hole, typically creating something. So
that's everybody. Everybody who's not with us is in a dark hole, and we're not around.
And I'm being told by all the viewers right now, there's two Matt Johnsons on the show right now. So sorry, everybody.
Except for Greg, he's online all the time, so he's never. But that's cool. So that's kind of what I'm up to. And
awesome,
it's
man.
a lot of fun. We're having a lot of fun.
I'm glad to hear it. So how do you like working from home? Just had a personal question to you.
You know what? It's about the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Yes. Go EXP.
I feel like I'm being rewarded.
Really?
I'm serious about this.
I
I feel like God is rewarding me for 30 years of the grind of an office somewhere. And in my world, I was always crunching numbers, or I was always doing something behind the scenes, and people are standing around talking about politics, burping, whatever they do in corporate America. And I'm so glad to be out of all that. So
Yeah.
I really can stay focused. I just did a 10-year audit on the university's social media platform. And there's no way I could have done that in an office. Not in a week, or I think I did. I think it was 10 days total. So yeah, it really serves me better to be here, and it serves my clients better because I can give them the attention, and I can react fairly quickly in this environment. So I appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the same for real estate and just in general for where the world is heading. I think that's where things are going. I mean, Tim, you're on the cutting edge in the sense of working in social media, consulting from home, blending. You've got a main gig essentially that pays the bills. You're able to do things on the side. You're able to consult on the side. I mean, to me, that's kind of the future. That's where things are going. And so I think the people that build the skills now to stay disciplined, and they can work independently. They can work from home. They can work from the road. Have a much better, easier time kind of conforming to the changes that are coming down the pipe. Because I think there's a lot of people that are going to get thrust into consulting from home, or or they're gonna end up joining a brokerage like EXP or something, and then they're gonna find themselves at home, not rolling into an office and going, so this is what this is. I actually have to discipline myself to do work. And it's not easy. Like if you work from home, like it is a definite, I'm not saying it's an adjustment. It's like you said, Tim, it's a sense of freedom too. But Greg, you and I mean, we've worked from home for a while. I've worked from home for the last couple of years. You've started working from home this year. It's definitely not always easy. It's tempting to let yourself off easy a little bit.
It is. Yeah. It is tempting. Yeah. But the thing is about that is that you have to, I view it as I don't know. I compare myself against myself consistently, and the only thing that I use to use as my measure is my results. Like, what did I get done today? Not did I show up to the office, not did I waste time at the coffee machine, not did I go out to lunch. No, sitting down, getting your butt in a seat, figuring out exactly what you need to do, get it done, and then if you get it all done really quickly, okay, go sit by the pool for an hour. Go give yourself that break. For you, Matt, it's going to Starbucks or go and do something. It's that if you get your job done, get your tasks done. It's not about busy work. It's about being very specific in your work and then rewarding yourself. And it took me a long time to learn that. A long time.
Yeah, I'm finding that I found over the last, it's been about almost a year now, that I've been doing it this way. And I'm finding that my calendar has become the most important thing in my life. And here's why. It's not because, I literally use my calendar to book time off. I use my calendar for everything. And so because I do it that way, I can measure my results based on what I did in the calendar. Yep. And it makes it's easier for me to measure. And it also is easier for me to really manage projects because I can follow the timelines. I can use my calendar. So everything about what I do, I try to connect to my calendar in some way, and that has really helped me a lot. Because a lot of my job, even at the university, is fairly ubiquitous. So it's kind of whenever a student, I work with a lot of dissertation students, and so whenever they need something, they'll contact me. That creates what most would think is a chaotic calendar situation, but actually it's not, as long as you're using your calendar. As long as I've got systems in place that they can book time on my calendar and all that. So it just becomes a responsive thing. It's not a chaotic thing. And I think people who first are thinking about doing this are scared by that because they think, well, now I'm never off and I'm on 24 hours a day. Well, you're not really, because you just book your time off. I'm just done after, 8 o'clock or whatever. My time's booked out. It's done. So it works. It works. But I think Matt and Greg, you would agree though that some personalities this would be difficult for. I think. I think so. Oh yeah. So some people it just doesn't work. But I think for the majority of people though, Matt, you're exactly right. I think this is where it's going. And I can't believe it. I can't believe I get to sit in my house every day and work. It just is so much better, and it's so much less expensive.
Oh,
there's so many expenses.
It's unbelievable how much money you save.
About the time savings. Good Lord.
Well, when I first came over to EXP,
food, everything. It's
everything.
crazy.
Yeah, I first came over to EXP. remember sitting down first day, right? I'm like, oh crap, what did I do to myself? I don't know what to do. It's 8:30 in the morning. I'm usually on the road, and I plopped down, started doing some follow-up calls, and bam, got a nice lady. She thanked me for following up with her. We sent her a card. She's going to be a potential future client of ours. I'm like, well, look at all this. I'm not in traffic with angry people, trudging to and from their job, which they don't like. I'm here at my complex where I live with this killer view of palm trees and a pond and a giant pool and fresh air and light coming into my house. I can walk around barefoot. Oh, by the way, Matt, I went out with a girl last night, and she's like me. She hates wearing shoes. I'm like, yes, 2 in the no shoe club. And Matt is shaking his head just in absolute disdain if you guys can't see this. I feel bad for you. One day we'll convert you, brother. We'll convert you.
Oh, man.
But what do you got? You had some questions, I believe, that we want to hammer out? So I know that I'm dying to jump in with Tim, but I know that you were diligently hunting for questions.
There was talking about Facebook video. There's a question here from Jesse Parr. Says, I'm going to be posting a Facebook video or ad video soon. What content would you guys recommend to talk about to generate seller leads? So it's a great, to me, that's a great kind of a segue to talk about how do you educate? What do you talk about that will educate a seller lead? So Tim, just given your opinion? Obviously, a home buyer yourself. If you were to put your home on the market today, what are some of the questions that you wish that agents would cover in their Facebook videos that would actually be genuinely helpful?
Yeah, I think you have to be thinking all the time about your clients as being people who are not as educated as you are about the same subject that you're going with. So I think that's important. And when you start to educate people out in the social sphere, it's really important that you aren't giving them you're not educating them about things they already know, but things they don't know. That's what makes you valuable. So for instance, for me, if I'm selling my house, I want to know, what does my house need to look like? How do I find out what the kind of ranges I could be expecting to sell my house? What's the process? I may not even know what the process is. Is this gonna does somebody come and look at my house? Do I have to? How do I get appraisals done? How does all of that work? Do you do that for me as a real estate agent? I may not know any of the answers to that. So a lot of times what I do with my clients and how we deal with content is we start making an outline of let's say it's a process. So let's say it's the process of selling a house. Mm-hmm. We make an outline of what that process looks like. What does the project look like? If you're managing that project as a real estate agent, what does that process look like, and what are all the steps? And can I make videos then that atomize that education? This is a really important thing.
Yeah.
What we found on YouTube and Facebook is that people are willing to watch live videos because you're live and they can ask questions and they can interact. So live video, of course, is just exponentially growing in popularity on all platforms, but especially Facebook. But what we're really finding is that if you're going to post a video, most videos that will get watched all the way through. So I'm not talking about you won't get clicked on a video, because just because you get clicked on a video doesn't mean they watched it. It just means they clicked on it and then they said, oh, I don't care, and they clicked off. So something that gets watched all the way through typically is somewhere between 3 and 7 minutes. So if I'm going to make a video that's 3 to 7 minutes long, that's going to atomize what I'm going to talk about. So it might be that I'm going to have to make 2 or 3 different videos to get through a particular piece of the process. But that's okay, because that's what people are interested in. And here's how you can measure that, by the way. So we do this at the university all the time. We'll have them make, now in the university level, we tend to make more like 20-minute videos because we've got so much content to cover, right, with somebody. But if we put something out about the university, typically what happens is we'll put something out that's maybe 3 minutes long, and then we'll put something that follows up with something else, like something growing, something on the back of it. So we'll talk about one thing, then we'll talk about another thing, but we're trying to hinge it together. Mm-hmm. And we can see in the numbers, what was the attrition rate from 1 to 2? There's always an attrition rate, right? Yeah, you're always going to get something. But was it pretty good? Was it high? Was it 80%? Well, then we didn't need number 2. They're not that interested.
Interesting.
But if it was only 15%, wow, people are really interested. We could probably go for one more. I think what a lot of people where they make the mistake is not making number 2 video. It's making number 3. That's where they really make a mistake. So they make a video about something, and then they make number 2 because they want to check, they want to see, was this okay? So you make number 1, you get some hits, but you don't really know how to measure that exactly. So you make number 2 to gauge it. And if video number 2 says, I'm talking about a particular piece, right? So I've got a particular thing I want to get over, and it's going to take me a couple of videos to get through it. I'll do number 1, see how it goes. Do number 2 almost invariably because I like to see the numbers. If the numbers are pretty good, then I'll do number 3. But if the numbers are really bad, like I got an 80% attrition rate, which means only 20% of the people that listen to number 1 listen to number 2. Well, then there's no need for me to make number 3. Because what I'm doing then is I make number 3 and I'm gonna wipe it out. So that's energy that I could have done something new. And the problem with video is that it does. There are tendencies that we the way that we deal with things as people is that our tendency is we do the same thing over and over, and we have to be careful not to do that because we want to make sure that people are interested, and they're only interested right now through variety. So you have to kind of keep that going.
You really bring up a good point. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's okay. No.
Because you and I were having a discussion off air about view counts and videos and everything else, and what you just said makes a billion percent sense. When I launched the new radio show on Sunday, did a Facebook Live, kind of clutched my way through it, but it was something new, and it has 1,000, 2,000, 1,200 views, I don't know, something like that, because it was something new and different. Right now, that will get old. I'll get old turkey pretty quickly, but it's something new now, and so my mind's kind of moving on how this can be continuously different, but yet still keeping the quality. And I think there's a lot of easy ways to do that, but we all fall in that trap of being stuck in a rut and going, well, if I just keep digging deeper in this rut, I'm going to get a better result. That's the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, right? And that's why I like getting you on here, because it's interesting. We were talking off air about, we were talking on air first off about making lists about things, right? Making checklists and then working down different videos. On the radio show on KGO on Sunday, we're going to be talking about the buying process. I didn't think there was a lot to talk about the buying process, but then what you said to me here on the show was, what was your exact words? Educate clients on what they don't know instead of versus what they do know, and know that they are less educated than you are in the subject matter, so don't overlook things. And it rings so true, because when I was doing the outline for the show on Sunday, and I saw, it's 3 pages long. It's 3 pages long on stuff that I can talk about in a 44 minutes time slot. I'm not going to be able to do it. But what you say is so simple, but it's so profound. You treat them, they don't know as much as you do. Teach them things they don't know versus what they do know.
Right.
And I absolutely love that stuff. It's so simple, but it's so profound.
Now, there's something, Tim, that you mentioned in the pre-show that I want to get into real quick, which is the nouns and verbs, and just making sure that we're being succinct and direct, because that's something that really caught my ear as soon as you mentioned it. So explain to people a little bit about what you mean by that.
Okay, well, let me back up just one tiny little step, a half a step, just to say one thing before that. In that if you're out there and you're posting stuff, so let's say you're watching this show today and you go, man, this is really great, I want to post this. So you share it online, which of course we all want you to do, right? So we share it online.
Yes. Okay. Do it now.
Do it now. Go ahead. But don't do it without adding text. Don't do it without adding text. We have found that just sharing links overall does not convert as well as if you put text. And I'll tell you what's really important about that is that when you put text on something, you are actually connecting all of that expertise to yourself. All of what's in that video. So it doesn't even have to be expertise. It could be, I got a cute video of a baby and I'm sharing it. That's fine. But it connects you to that, and it tells people why this is important to you. And that is where people relate. Because remember, I've said this from way back in the Blab days, and I'm still saying it to my students now, and that is social media is all about human people, real people in digital environments. The digital environments are only measuring human behavior. So you want people to go, oh, that's a great video, and that's connected to one of my favorite people. That's what text does. Okay. Now, having said that, when you write text, the tendency that we do when we write is that we add a lot of adverbs and adjectives. So we say things are really, 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 really great, or I am very blessed to be here today, or whatever like that. We tend to exaggerate things with adverbs and adjectives, and what that does in the social media, what we found is that overall that lowers the credibility of what you've said versus using nouns and verbs.
Yeah.
Using nouns and verbs. Just state things, I like this, I like this program because these guys really know how to get leads. That's a different, and I even used the word really, so I've got an adverb in there, but the more that I don't do that, the more that I try not to be superfluous in my words. I just kind of just say, hey, this is why I just love these guys. You should watch this. That it's more direct, and it feels like it has more integrity, because I'm not trying to protest too much about how great it is. I'm just saying this is great, and I really appreciate this.
Yeah.
And sometimes even if you can put a quote in there, I just did one today. I watched something and I put a quote that was in there, and I said, this just really sells me on this. And so now I've opened myself up for people to disagree with me, but that's okay. That's what we're supposed to be doing anyway.
Right.
I don't mind that people disagree with me. So, I mean, I think that's because that engagement is what's important. And then, and we can talk about engagement in a little while, I guess, but I don't want to get too far off what you've asked me. But the nouns and the verbs it's brevity that matters. If you can say something that's really profound and short, that's what people are going to walk away with. And it's going to make you appear to be the expert that you need to be if you're going to attract clients. Listen, I'm not going, I'll put it this way. If I have a brain tumor, which thank God I don't, but if I do, right, I'm not going to a C level, I'm not going to a C brain, brain surgeon that got C's in school and can't communicate with me. I'm just because he says, I'm really, 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 really good at this. That does not sell me. I need to know, hey, this is a guy who knows what's wrong with me, knows how to do it, has done this before, has done it a million times, and I can trust him. That's the same thing, though, for you that it is for him. Yeah. People have to understand who you are, and they have to trust that what you're telling them is going to be there. And if they do that, then they're not only going to get you to sell this house, but they're going to have you sell other houses. They're trusting you to do that, and that's where you're going to get repeat clients.
So interesting. I even felt the energy shift when you were very direct versus being fluffy. I'm really, 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 really excited. Right? You're winding me up there, but you said, look, these guys are awesome. End of story. Come check it out. Okay, they're awesome. Let's go check it out. I like that mindset. I like what you have found here, and I think that's going to help a lot of people because sometimes in today's day and age, we believe that we have to be fluffy kittens and unicorns and be all cutesy all the time. When in reality, is being brutally honest. Be like, look, this is awesome. You should check it out. Or I bought this. You're going to love it. Go buy it. All right. I mean, isn't that the same way?
Even better is just using specifics instead of adjectives. That's one of the things I learned from hanging out with my mentor Frank from the agency I used to work for. He was always big on, like, whenever we would write anything up, he'd be like, no puffery, no puffery, no puffery, no puffery. Like, eliminate all the puffery. Well, what's puffery? Well, Tim, it's like you said, it's the reallys, it's the awesome, it's the great, this is the greatest thing ever. It's all the things that are unsubstantiated claims. They're hype or hyperbole, whatever you want to call it. And we do this all the time. I think people naturally gravitate towards that. I think people talk like that. A lot of people talk like that just in their daily life, and so that translates into social media. Unfortunately, we don't tend to put much stock in that. When somebody else says, hey, this is really, really awesome, you're going to love this video, okay, like, yeah, I get you may have liked it. That doesn't mean I'm going to like it. It doesn't mean I want to spend 3 minutes of my time finding out that this is a cat video that you thought was hilarious that I think is the dumbest thing on the face of the earth, Greg.
You're getting one today, buddy.
Yeah, so if you want to send me a video that you expect me to watch, I expect Greg to go, hey, dude, watch this video. This really caught my eye because of X, Y, and Z. Then I will take my time to watch it.
Be careful, Matt. You just laid your own trap, buddy.
No, it means I'm giving myself license to ignore anything you send me that doesn't give me a concrete reason to watch it. But it's funny that you mentioned that, Tim, because to me, removing puffery and really focusing on nouns and verbs, to me, that's how successful people talk.
That's right.
I don't hear a lot of successful people And there's some speaker author types out there that are more hype than substance. And I think they fit into a certain archetype, and there's reasons that they talk that way because they're trying to sell something to innocence. Let's put it that way. But outside of that, outside of those people, for the most part, if you talk to a very successful person, they're extremely succinct. They say a lot, and they deliver a lot of content and a lot of nouns and verbs in a short amount of time. There's not a lot of ums and ahs. There's not a lot of breaks. There's not a lot of you-knows and uhs and, time-filling kind of words and noises. It's the same thing on social media. So it's interesting that is actually what's working, is getting short, because I think it's actually a good thing. It might actually train us to be more successful communicators.
I think you're exactly right. And I think, if you look at it this way, the average person, they tend to say a lot of things to get one tiny little idea out. And what we need to do is just get that idea. So I would tell people pre-write. I tell people all the time, pre-write something. Before you get it out there, don't just go to social media and write it. Pre-write it somewhere and look at it. I'm talking from a professional standpoint. Although, as a personally, this works for you. If you really want to be someone who people likes and shares their stuff on just personally, this will work for you too. But from a professional standpoint, write it out first and then start eliminating it. Can you get that 2 sentences down to one?
Yeah.
Can you
cut it in half?
Is the main idea really shot out there? And then the other thing is that speak from an intelligent place, but not an intelligently arrogant place. That's the key. Intellectual arrogance comes when I believe that you're ignorant to what I know. Intellectual integrity comes when you speak to people that you may not know this, and I want to help you. It's different.
Say that again. Different. Say that again.
So intellectual arrogance comes when I speak to a place in you that I say you're ignorant to this. So I'm higher than you are. See what I mean? I'm talking down to you.
Yeah.
Whereas if I want to help you, if my mission is to help people, then I'm going to have an intellectual integrity. So don't be afraid to put the cat video out there and say this is a metaphor for how, put the cat video out there, but make it purposeful. This is a metaphor for the buying process of a house, and everybody laughs because the kitten is falling off of all these things and keeps trying to get back up. But what you've done is you've made something relatively senseless, right, into something that's intellectual, and people will go, "Oh, I get that. Hey, this guy gets me. I think that's funny." It's funny how people are, because most people, when you talk about education, right, they say, "Oh, I'm just not good at math. Oh, I'm just not good at school." No, you were good at something. I mean, it wasn't that you understood nothing. It's just that you got the idea in your mind that you couldn't hack it with the intellectuals. Well, that's because of intellectual arrogance. That's because people didn't allow you to become a part of the team. I think if you guys are out there and you're saying, "Hey, you're the client, you're a part of the team. We're going to educate you on how to do this." Mm-hmm. If you're doing that in your social media, then I'm going to get drawn in to say, "Hey, I like those guys, and I feel like I could be a part of their team, and I feel like they could explain things to me, and I'm not going to get bamboozled." They're not going to. They're not going to try to. They're not going to try to, play to my ignorance, because I don't want that. I don't want to do
nobody
that.
wants that.
I use that all the time. I use us, we, team on a consistent basis. When I'm talking to people, if it comes in down to anything, I immediately use those 3 different words, and people, they resonate with it because they're like, okay, I'm a part of something. We've always wanted to be a part of something. It goes back to being a hunter and gatherers. We were in tribes. Our tribes are now digital. There are Facebook friends. There are Twitter followers. There are Instagram views. I mean, these are our tribes now. And I mean, Tim, of course, you tickle my funny bone with the whole, you allowing me to now use cat videos for professional purposes, because there's a lot of things that would be hilarious about that. But I mean, it's so true. When you can take something nominal as a cat video, a cat trying to jump off of a couch and you're just eating it into a face plant, trying to jump onto the curtains, ever jumped off and tried to get an offer and didn't get accepted? We know how you feel.
Exactly.
People will watch that stuff, and then they'll giggle. Right. Then you'll be relatable. Like I said, it's not arrogance, but you still have an intelligence about something. And I think that's a lot of us try to come off very, very professional, but we aren't relatable because the other people don't understand what we're doing. There's no bridge there.
But then what you got to do. But then on the flip side of that, Greg, is what you got to do is you got to make sure you're not doing all cat videos.
True. Exactly.
Because then you're eliminating dog owners. So you just always have to think about What am I doing? What's playing? What's not? Who might I be? Who might I be eliminating? And then play to that to the best of your ability. I mean, educate the market, educate the client you don't have yet, who may be afraid because they just don't think they know things. You know, you're not going to be educating the client that they think they know everything anyway.
No.
You're educating a person like me who I don't know. I have a lot of gifts and a lot of things, but I don't know anything about real estate. So what do I do?
What's the next steps?
And honestly, as far as I can tell, you're driving a lot nicer car than I am. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means that you take advantage of me, or if that just means that that's part of your marketing. I have no idea. So that's what I'm saying. You have to understand that, again, I'm a human in a digital space, and I'm watching you, and I'm trying to relate to you. And if you can get to me, then I'm going to trust you.
So I think one of the original shows we had you on, you talked about people. I think it was you that people vote with their click. So you guys can see this. I'm holding up my mouse from my computer right here. People will vote with their click right here. Are you relevant? Are you something of interest? Are you something of substance? Or are you just some passing person in their news feed? They're like, whatever. I don't want to see that.
That's right.
So how can we get people to judge us with their clicks in a positive way on a more often basis? Because we talked off air what was the least working up to what's the best working on social media right now. And is there a blend of kind of putting all these together to really get people? Because we want to get them, we want to teach them through education. And this is something that I fully admit, like 3.5, almost 4 years ago, I told Matt, we're going to run tons and tons of ads for this podcast. It's going to be amazing. He summarily, verbally slapped me down and ridiculed me in private and public, which I'm still going to therapy for with those bruised egos and wounds mentally. He's just shaking his head and smiling for everyone who can't see him. But, I mean, the educational thing is so big, and I'm a huge fan of that, getting on that bandwagon now that people, you can throw an advertisement out. You can have a park bench. You can have a Facebook ad. You can have all this stuff. But the education fact, like you said, teach people what they don't know. And now you become valuable. So with the blend of video and photos and text and links and everything else, with your knowledge, what would be a good, easy starting point for people to start becoming more relevant and start to be more click-worthy out on social media?
Oh, that's a great question. And the easiest answer I can give you is this. Make a list of what people ask you all the time. Every single client probably asks you something or a number of things. Every single one. Address those first.
And then make a video,
get
right?
Get it out there. And then make a video.
3 to 7 minutes. Make a video.
Yeah. So when you first meet a client for the very first time, what are the questions that they always ask you? That's probably the best thing to do first. Because everybody, I mean, what do you call? I mean, I have no idea what that is. I don't want to try to speculate, but I'm just saying.
We all know what it is for each of us.
And for each of you, it might be different, but you got to make that list. And then how do I explain everything in brevity, and how do I do it on film? And listen, people call me all the time. They say, I just do not like to be on film. I don't like to see myself. Well, then go get Screencast or Jing or Camtasia or something that you just do it. Make yourself a really good PowerPoint presentation. And when I say really good, it follows the 10-20-30 rule, 10 slides or less. Well, if you're doing a production, if you're doing a talk, you use the 10-20-30 rule, which is 10 minutes or less, 10 slides or less, 20 minutes or less, and then 30-point font or more. But
big buttons and colors.
Big buttons and colors. But the idea is put enough slides together that you can show it, but do stuff that is big. Don't read off of a slide. Nobody wants that. Yeah. Nobody wanted that when we started doing it. Nobody wanted that when PowerPoint first came out. Nobody wants that. Yeah. But just put the idea is that you're presenting something. So just put something out there. Pictures, buttons, colors, and then just answer the question. So if it takes 5 slides in 5 minutes, great. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then you put that out there and you say, this is Dr. Tim Stafford, and I'm a real estate agent, and this is what I do. And look, most of my clients ask me this question. Here's the 5 slides I'm going to show you. Boom, boom, boom. That allows them to watch that 27 times. And if it's good quality, they're going to go, I get it. I get that. Mm-hmm. We call this that ubiquitous learning. We want to make it possible for a person that if I go out to my garage today and I have a flat tire, I can get on YouTube and I can find somebody to show me how to fix my tire if I don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's called ubiquitous learning. You want somebody who has a question in their mind find you to get the answer. If you do that, then they're gonna trust you because that seems right to them.
Now, is it quality or quantity when it comes to content, or is there a mix? Because I mean, it seems like there's so much white noise with everybody out there screaming at the top of their lungs, going, "Look at me, look over here, look at me, look over here." How do we distinguish ourselves in the white noise to get out of the red water and get into the blue water hunting?
Here's the suggestion I make to every single client: high quality, often. Now,
High quality.
You say, well, what does often mean? I don't know, because I watch the numbers. Now, everybody that ever talks to me, I try to tell them the same thing, and that is, this is not a purely science thing. It is an artful thing. So realize that, and I realize that. So it's not, but I watch the numbers. If we're putting out 2 videos a week, and we're really not converting more than when we did 1, well, then we don't need to do more than 1. But if we're converting as much on 2 as we are on 1, well, then we'll try 3. See if we can get more. I mean, the reality is that what we focus on is not how much we're going to post. What we focus on is that everything that we post is incredibly excellent. It's really good. And how we know that is, now at the university, how we know that is we do focus groups. I actually show videos to people and I say, what was the point of this video? And they'll say the point of the video was, and they tell me, and if it's wrong, if it's not what my objective was, then I'll ask them, how could I tweak this video so that you would have thought it was about this? And they will tell you every time.
Really?
And so we do a lot of focus group study. Now at the university we can do that because we can pull students in and we can do a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that you don't have family members. And listen, find the family. Not all of your family members are great at real estate. That they're not. They're other things. So what you do is you say, I got this real estate video. Pretend you're a new buyer. Watch this and then say, what was this video about? What was the point I was getting across? If they get it right, then you say, is there anything I could have changed to make it better? Is there anything I could have do a little bit of focus group work before you put it out there? Because those are real people looking at your video who are willing to tell you things. What's going to happen, as Greg said earlier, what happens is if I don't know you, I just simply don't click. Mm-hmm. But if I know you, I'll tell you what I think. Mm-hmm. See what I mean? So you don't want to put something out there and then gauge clicks, because you might have gotten clicks if you just made one tweak, but nobody's going to tell you what that is. So what you have to do is you have to find the thing that engages your audience, and that typically comes from talking to other humans. It isn't from just scientifically trying to figure it out.
God forbid we have to talk to other humanoids. I mean,
exactly.
Jeez. I mean, I thought we just hide behind our screens forever.
That is a conundrum.
But you know what? I tell the same thing to my students when they're writing papers, when they're writing dissertations and things. I tell them, have somebody in your house that doesn't know anything about what you're talking about read it. Because if they don't understand it, it's not good enough yet.
Yeah, there's actually somebody, I think it was Paul Franklin actually that's watching, that commented earlier, like, hey, for the love of God, yeah, here we go. And for the love of God, eliminate the industry jargon. Clients don't know what CMA means, which, I always got a kick out of that. People that would use terminology like that with clients, because they don't, it doesn't make you sound good, because if they don't know what you're talking about, it has the effect, like you said, Tim, earlier, of it's either intellectual arrogance or it comes across like you're just confusing, and it doesn't serve your purpose, right? You first seek to be understood, then that will help you get your point across much better.
That's right.
And
That's right.
yeah, that's one of the weird things where I feel like it's something that new agents get into the habit of because they're learning it and they're trying to incorporate it because they feel like it makes them sound like the expert. The problem is if we're not 100% crystal clear with people, we're assuming that they think that creates this feeling of we're the experts and we have it handled. If they don't understand what we're talking about, it doesn't make them feel any better. The real expert can break it down in a terminology that they can understand. I think it was, and it's been said about everything, but there was a great example, and I can't remember who it was that said it, but basically they were telling someone with a new business idea that was going in to pitch it, like, look, if you can't, explain it to me like I'm 5 years, like I'm a 5-year-old. If you cannot explain your startup idea to the point where a 5-year-old can understand it and repeat what you said, then it's not simple enough, which is a great kind of principle just for us all to keep in mind. But Yeah. So anyway, so video's ruling all, right? So right now, like
by far.
best thing to do is just like, let's hop on video. The best way to find our video topics is to look at what our clients are already asking us. I did want to throw this out real quick. So Greg, you're a viral marketing client. If everybody goes to getviral.com or just search viral marketing, viral with a Y, on their real estate page on the upper right-hand side, they have the top 24 real estate video topics that you can download for free. That is from, 7 or 8 years of them running videos with real estate clients and then watching the numbers, the open and click reports of people to see what they're actually interested in. What are the subject lines? What are the video topics that people actually pay attention to? And I did some of that work while I was there. And so some of that stuff ended up in that report, like real estate trends. That's a great video topic and a great subject line that actually gets opened. So same thing applies if you're doing a video on Facebook. Do something on real estate trends. It's the same stuff. It's all the same questions. So guys, go grab that, and that will give you another good idea based on 500 other real estate clients over the last few years that they've been helping, of what exactly people are paying attention to, like the content that they want to see from agents online. So I want to throw that out there. So Tim, what else I really wanted to dig into in the few minutes that we've got left, because we've got a hard out here coming up, the concept of kind of giving a theme to your days so people know, kind of like the Tonight Show does with various things, like Jimmy Fallon has the note cards and thank you notes and this and that. So people show up on a Friday night. They understand it's the same show, but there's something different to look forward to. So how can people incorporate that into what they're doing on social media?
Well, I think one of the things that you have to remember is that if you generally are doing just the same content over and over again, then there's something that we're seeing in the numbers right now that we haven't really put a name to officially, but it's basically I'll put the Tim Stafford version on it. It's the I'll see you next time. That's kind of the idea. Like, he posted another video, I'll catch it next time. And so what's happening is we're seeing the numbers go up and down and up and down and up and down. And we can't, and people I just don't understand. I'm posting the same things and I'm getting all this. Well, the problem is that people don't know that you're doing something different on a Tuesday versus a Friday. And so the best example, of course, that we have is Jimmy Fallon, where he established right away that on Tuesday nights he was going to do, or Wednesday nights rather, he was going to do hashtags, which went out Tuesdays, so that and so the people were engaged for those 2 days, and then on Fridays he was going to do his thank you notes, and then he has these games that he plays, and he purposely schedules those on certain days. And what happens is people say, I really love that thank you note thing, I'm going to watch on Wednesdays. Oh, that's right. Then he talks about who's going to be on the next day, and so then, oh, that's right, that's note cards. So the idea is that they're kind of creating silos within their overall idea.
Right.
And I think, how does that relate to, how does that translate to you guys? Well, there may be a particular thing that you're just going to do. Maybe you're going to answer questions on Tuesday nights, and that's always what you're going to do. You're going to go live. If you're a real estate agent, you're going to go live, and anybody that wants to talk to you about real estate in your area, just call in and ask questions. Maybe you'll have a set of topics you're going to talk about. And that always happens on Tuesdays, but then on Fridays, you've got something different that you're doing. I think that's going to be really important to helping people come back again. Because remember, if they think that they're just going to tune in and hear some more of the same thing, it isn't that it's not valuable to them, but it may not have a sense of urgency to it. And the thing about it is, you guys, is that there are 4 U's that we use all the time when we talk about content. And this is whether you're writing a research paper or whether you're writing content for social media. It doesn't really matter. There are 4 U's if you want people to engage, and that's it's got to be useful, it's got to be unique, it's got to be unique to you in some way, or unique to an area, or it's got to be somehow unique. So useful, unique, it's got to be urgent, got to feel urgent. Now, urgency can be felt because it's happening right now and you don't want to miss it, or urgency is there's something different going on and I don't want to miss that. But it's always a sense of urgency, like, oh, that's right, tonight's Wednesday. It's the hashtag. I don't want to miss that. That's as urgent as, oh my gosh, we're having a sale for one day only. It's the same urgency, and then it's got to be ultra specific. You always have to be doing things that are ultra specific. If you're not looking at specificity, then what's going to happen is your tendency is you're going to just generally be doing a wash. And so if you start to think in those 4 U's, then you can actually start to kind of program what you're going to do in your videos in a very ultra specific way. And so those four, and I actually have a graphic that I produced about that, an infographic. And if anybody wants to, we'll talk about how people can reach me. If they want to reach out to me, I'll be glad to send it to them. But it kind of details a little bit more about those 4 U's. But those 4 U's are really important: useful, unique, urgent, ultra specific. If you'll keep that in mind, I used to put that on a Post-it note. I actually have it right over here on my screen. Mm-hmm. Post-it note. There it went on the floor. Anyway, there's a Post-it note right over here that says those 4 things. It just has those 4 words on it. And when I go to write content, I think to myself, okay, if I only get 3 or 4 of these, I've only got 75%. Mm-hmm. So how can I do it without being pretentious, without forcing it to work? How can I do it? But I've got to try to get these 4 U's into whatever I'm putting out there.
You know, one of the things I did for a while was before I was doing a lot of stuff on my own page, what I would do is I would go to the Facebook group, Lead Gen Scripts and Objections, where we get a lot of our questions from and everything, and I would post the day before or that morning, like, hey guys, I'm going to be talking about X, Y, and Z at this time, at this location, and then I'll change it up, and then I would have a large amount of people showing up. And that's something I need to work on for my morning shows, is doing that exact same thing. You know, let people know what they're going to be to expect on the next day. So I have to do a little bit more show prep than spontaneously sitting down and wowing myself with whatever comes out of my mouth, which needs to change. But I mean, I do love the useful, unique, urgent, ultra specific, and then just kind of educating your clients on something they don't know. Eliminating all puffery and useless BS out of your life. And that's not just online. That is overall in life. Get rid of the fluffy bullshit. Just get out there and just be real. Be authentic. Be hard-hitting. Not in a bad way, but just be hard-hitting in the content that you're going to be talking about. People I think, and Tim and Matt, I want you to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I think people are getting to the point where we're just tired of the fluff. I mean, Tim, you look at the numbers, you probably see that. But I mean,
well, we're probably tired. Well, because it's hard to keep those 4 things in mind, and I think there's a lot of people that are putting out content that just doesn't follow those guidelines. I don't know that we're tired of content that falls under those 4 things.
No.
You know?
I said fluff. I mean, it's like fluff.
Yeah.
Like the very, 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 very awesome. We're tired of that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's really just, and it's an ongoing. It's an ongoing target to strive to hit all 4 of those things. I wouldn't say it's necessarily easy. To some, it's easier than most, and especially doing prep work will help it become easier. But yeah, I don't think that people are tired of the content. I think, people are tired of the fluff because there's so much out there that just doesn't follow those guidelines, which means if we do, we're going to stick out, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of extra effort to look at it and go, okay, is what I'm saying. Because literally, I was thinking about this while you were saying that, Tim. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about on an Insta Live later today. And, is it useful? It's something I want to talk about. It's something I want to share. It'll promote me. You know what I'm saying? Is it useful to somebody else? So I was just thinking about like how I could phrase it, how I could wrap it up into something bigger or different that makes it more useful to the audience. Because obviously, I want to be useful. I want to be helpful. I don't want to say things and waste my time and other people's time putting out fluff. And so I tend to err on the side of not putting any content out, when really what I need to do is I need to just put a little bit more thought into what I'm putting out, make sure that it follows those 4 things, because it's going to work when it does. Greg, yes.
Yes, I want to put this in there. This is what I remembered. Tim, you brought up a really good thing here about like market trends. That's something that people really like to listen to. Matt, you said that about market trends. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is a resource that I just found. My brother turned me on to it for big data. It's 100% free, guys, called Atom Data. And so it's ATTOM data.com. Go to the main site. Then you're going to see the top bar is going to be all blue with white writing. Come down to the secondary bar. It's gray. Far right-hand side is going to say Market Trends. Click on it, and this is very in-depth, very high-quality content where you guys can go grab this stuff, and then you can make some videos. You can talk about it with your other agents. You can talk about it with your buyers and sellers, but you can refer them back to stuff. They have heat maps that are interactive with really a lot of data on this stuff. So if you want to do a high level market trends on a consistent basis and not just trust Zillow, go to Atom Data, ATTOM.data.com, and check it out. It's really, really cool. But Matt, we are coming up on a hard stop here, so I will shush.
Yeah. So Tim, speaking of the infographic that you mentioned, how can people connect, learn more, reach out, connect with you?
There's two things. Number one, they can email me at tstafford, Stafford, tstafford at STU, like St. Thomas University, .edu. So tstafford at stu.edu. If you email me, I'll just say, hey, I'd like that infographic, and I'll send it to you. If you like to talk to me, as always, I'm willing to do 20 minutes for free. To anybody who wants to call me, just go to bookdrtim.org. Bookdrtim, drtim.org. Find a spot, sign up on it. I'll be glad to sit down with anybody and talk through their strategies or what kinds of things we could be helpful. Totally free, no obligation at all, just because you're listeners to REU. So you can tstafford at stu.edu, bookdrtim.org.
Well, Tim, I have really bad news for you and all the listeners. I've already booked you up for the last 6 months, for the next 6 months just for me. So you guys are going to be 6 months out. That was me. It was me.
All right, Greg, how do people connect with you?
Go to bookmcdaniel.com. Again, bookmcdaniel.com. Book 30 minutes about EXP, guys. If this is something that's been on your radar, you guys are kind of interested to kind of see where this is going, or your friends and family are talking about it. This is something that Matt and I are building. We're building our tribe over there. We're putting some really cool people together that are joining us. Matt, we actually just had 4 new people that said that they give me verbal confirmation they're coming over for us. So we're growing exponentially here, guys. Be a part of what we're doing. You get free coaching, free training, free products, free masterminds. You know, you can go to Book of Big Johnson. You can talk to Matt, which is actually a real site. Thank you, Paul Franklin, for doing that. But yeah, go there. Let's talk. And Matt is so not amused right now. But it is what we are doing, guys. And we hope that we will see on the other side when we talk about it. So Matt, to you, my friend.
Yeah. Well, for the show, guys, make sure to rate, review it. Make sure to give Dr. Tim a good shout out if you leave a rating or a review on iTunes. So we want to rack up as many ratings as we can, because that helps other people find the show, which is a great way to spread the good word. Make sure to share it with your friends, whether brokers, team leaders, agents, whatever the case is. We appreciate you guys sharing it online. And like Dr. Tim said, make sure to share a little bit on why you're sharing it so that you get all the benefits of sharing that expertise. Make sure to go subscribe, rate, review, all that stuff. iTunes, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, YouTube. You can go to our website, reuncensored.com. And then video, rockstarlivevideo.com. Go grab the free training. With that said, shall we put a nice, I did magenta yesterday for the color of the bow that we're going to tie upon this particular episode. I'm thinking for today, I want a light dusty brown. Not beige. Not beige. A light, dusty brown.
We can never confuse dusty brown with beige. That is just bad etiquette in any social circle.
That's right. Or dark eggshell. How dare you?
Ugh. The confusion amounts. I'm sitting there going, what the heck are we talking about? Hey, guys, I love you to pieces. Matt loves you to pieces. We're going to keep bringing back amazing people like Dr. Tim. We're going to have him back. If he'll allow us to bring him back, we know he's incredibly busy. We're blessed to have you on here, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on. It truly means the world to us. You drop knowledge bombs. You make it look easy because it just comes out of you, man. The rest of us, we are so grateful for. So thank you, my friend. And we will see you guys on the next show. Thank you for your time. Till then, peace out, my ninjas.